Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, as we embark on this journey together, I want you to understand that everything you seek, everything you desire, and everything you wish to become already exists within you. The world you see around you is nothing but a reflection of your inner state, a mirror of your consciousness, and it is through the deliberate, consistent focus on yourself that you can shape this inner world and, consequently, your outer reality. Now, when I speak of focusing on yourself, I do not mean this in the egotistical sense that the world often promotes. No, I speak of a deeper, more profound focus, a focus on your true self, your divine nature, your I am. For you see, you are not merely a physical being having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience. And it is in recognizing and embracing this truth that you begin to tap into the infinite power that resides within you. Every day, as you wake from your slumber, you have a choice. You can choose to be swept away by the currents of the world, allowing external circumstances to dictate your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Or you can choose to focus on yourself, to turn inward and connect with the God within you. For make no mistake, my dear friends, you are God in human form, expressing itself as you. This focus on self is not a selfish act, but the most selfless thing you can do. For as you elevate your consciousness, as you align yourself with your divine nature, you elevate the entire world. You become a beacon of light, illuminating the path for others to follow. But how? You may ask, does one focus on oneself every day? It begins with awareness. Awareness of your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. For these are the building blocks of your reality. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is shaping your world in this very moment. And it is through becoming aware of these inner movements that you can begin to consciously direct them. Imagine, if you will, that your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed planted in this garden. Some thoughts are beautiful flowers, others are noxious weeds. By focusing on yourself every day, you become the master gardener of your mind. You carefully select which seeds to plant, which thoughts to nurture, and which beliefs to water with your attention. This, my dear friends, is the essence of what I teach. The law of assumption states that if you assume a state, if you live from it as if it were already true, it must manifest in your outer world. But to do this effectively, you must focus on yourself every day. You must cultivate the inner state that corresponds to your desired reality. Let us delve deeper into this concept. When you focus on yourself, you are essentially focusing on your I am. I am is the name of God, and it is also your name. When you say I am, you are invoking the creative power of the universe. This is why it is crucial to be mindful of what follows I am in your thoughts and speech. If you constantly tell yourself, I am tired, I am broke, I'm unlucky, you are creating that reality. But when you focus on yourself every day, when you connect with your true nature, you can begin to consciously choose empowering I am statements. I am abundant, I am loved, I'm successful. These are not mere affirmations, but declarations of your true state of being. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, how can I declare myself to be something I am not yet experiencing in my physical reality? And to this I say, congratulations. You have just identified the very belief that has been holding you back. For you see, time is an illusion of the physical world. In the realm of spirit, in your true state of being, everything already exists in the eternal now. When you focus on yourself every day, you begin to see beyond the illusion of time and space. You start to understand that the version of you that has already achieved your desires, that is already living your dream life, exists right now. And by aligning your consciousness with that version of yourself, you bring it into your physical experience. This, my friends, is the power of imagination. Imagination is not some fanciful daydreaming, but the very substance of reality. The world you see around you was once only imagined. Every invention, every work of art, every human achievement began as a mere thought, an imaginal act. And it is through the focus on self, through the deliberate use of your imagination, that you can reshape your world. When you focus on yourself every day, You are essentially engaging in a form of mental diet. Just as you are careful about what you put into your physical body, you must be equally discerning about what you feed your mind. The thoughts you entertain, the mental images you dwell upon, the inner conversations you engage in, these are the nourishment for your consciousness. And just as a healthy physical diet requires consistency, so too does this mental diet. You cannot expect to transform your life by focusing on yourself once in a while, or only when you remember to do so. No. This must become a daily practice, as natural and necessary as breath. Each morning, as you rise from your sleep, take a moment to focus on yourself. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and connect with your I am. Feel the divine presence within you, the God that you are. Then, throughout your day, maintain this connection. Be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions to the world around you. When you find yourself slipping into negative patterns, gently bring your focus back to yourself. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind them, the consciousness that observes. And in this awareness lies your power to choose, to redirect your focus. As you go about your day, practice the art of revision. This is a powerful technique that allows you to reshape your past and consequently your present and future. If you encounter a situation that is less than desirable, do not dwell on it. Instead, in your imagination, revise the event. See it playing out exactly as you would have wished it to. Feel the emotions you would have felt had it happened in that ideal way. This is not denial or escapism. This is you exercising your God-given power to choose the reality you wish to experience. For remember, the outer world is but a reflection of your inner state. By revising events in your imagination, you are changing your inner state, and thus your outer reality must conform. Now, let us address a common misconception. Some may think that focusing on oneself every day means ignoring the world around them or neglecting their responsibilities. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you truly focus on yourself, when you align with your divine nature, you naturally become more present, more engaged with life. You see, when you're not focused on yourself, you are at the mercy of external circumstances. You react to life rather than creating it. But when you maintain a consistent focus on self, you become the creator of your reality. You respond to life from a place of inner peace and power. This focus on self also enhances your relationships with others. For when you are centered in your true self, when you are connected to the God within, you naturally radiate love, compassion, and understanding. You no longer seek validation for fulfillment from others. For you have found the source of all love and abundance within yourself. As you practice focusing on yourself every day, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your perception. The world around you may appear brighter, more vibrant. Synchronicities may become more frequent. You may find yourself naturally drawn to people and opportunities that align with your desires. This is because as you focus on yourself, as you elevate your consciousness, you begin to vibrate at a higher frequency. And like attracts like, you become a magnet for experiences that match your inner state. This is the law of attraction in action, but it goes beyond mere positive thinking. It is about embodying the state of your desire, living from the end result. Let me share with you a powerful exercise that you can incorporate into your daily routine. Each night, as you lay in your bed ready to sleep, enter into a state of relaxation. Take several deep breaths, allowing your body to sink into the mattress. Now, in your imagination, construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. If your desire is for financial abundance, see yourself looking at a bank statement with a balance that thrills you. If it's a loving relationship you seek, feel the warmth of your beloved's embrace. Whatever your desire may be, create a short, simple scene that implies its fulfillment. Now here's the crucial part. Enter the scene. Don't just watch it like a movie, but step into it. Feel it as real. Engage all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you smell? Make it as vivid and real as possible. And as you do this, feel the naturalness of it. Feel as though this is your reality now. Repeat this scene over and over, always from the first person perspective, always feeling it as real and natural. Do this until you fall asleep. This exercise, performed consistently, has the power to reshape your subconscious beliefs. And you see, your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. By repeatedly entering into this imaginal scene, you are impressing upon your subconscious the reality of your desire. And your subconscious, being the faithful servant that it is, will work tirelessly to bring about the conditions necessary for the manifestation of this state. This nightly practice is a powerful way to focus on yourself, to align your consciousness with your desires. But remember, this focus on self should not be limited to a few minutes before sleep. It must permeate your entire day. As you go about your daily activities, maintain an awareness of your inner state. Are you feeling anxious? Pause and reconnect with your I am. Are you doubting yourself? Remember that you are God expressing as you, and doubt has no place in the divine mind. Are you feeling a lack or limitation? Remind yourself of your true abundant nature. This constant self-awareness, this continuous focus on your inner state is the key to mastering your reality. For you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of your life experience. Every moment of every day, you are choosing the reality you experience through your focus. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be experiencing as you embark on this journey of self-focus. You may find that as you begin to consciously direct your thoughts and align with your desires, challenges arise. All patterns may resurface, doubts may creep in, and external circumstances may seem to contradict your inner work. Do not be discouraged by this. In fact, welcome it. For these challenges are not obstacles, but opportunities. They're bringing to the surface old beliefs and patterns that no longer serve you, allowing you to consciously choose again. When you encounter resistance, whether internal or external, simply see it as an indication that change is occurring. The old must be uprooted before the new can fully take root. Remember, the circumstances of your life are not the cause of your inner state, but the effect of it. By maintaining your focus on yourself, by persisting in the assumption of your desired state, regardless of appearances, you are causing a shift at the deepest level of your being. And this shift must, by law, be reflected in your outer world. As you focus on yourself every day, you will begin to experience a profound sense of peace and power. You will realize that you are not at the mercy of the world, but that the world is responding to you. This realization is freedom. It is the understanding that you are the operant power in your life, that your consciousness is the one and only reality. Now let us delve deeper into the practical application of this teaching. How can you maintain this focus on self throughout your busy day? It begins with setting the tone each morning. Upon waking, before you engage with the world, take a few moments to center yourself. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and affirm your true nature. I am God expressing as your nature. I am love. I am abundance. Feel the truth of these statements. Don't just repeat them mechanically, but feel them resonating in every cell of your being. This is not positive thinking or self-deception. This is you acknowledging and embodying your true divine nature. As you go about your day, make it a habit to check in with yourself regularly. Set reminders if you need to. Every hour or so, pause and ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? What state am I embodying? If you find that you've slipped into negative patterns, gently bring your focus back to your desired state. Remember, every moment is a new opportunity to choose. You are not bound by your past thoughts or actions. In each instant, you have the power to shift your focus, to realign with your true self, to choose again. Another powerful practice is to see everyone and everything as yourself pushed out. This means recognizing that the world you perceive is a reflection of your consciousness. The people you interact with, the situations you encounter are all aspects of yourself. By seeing the world in this way, you take full responsibility for your reality. If you encounter someone who is rude or unkind, Instead of reacting negatively, pause and ask yourself, what aspect of my consciousness is deflecting? How can I shift my inner state to experience more kindness in my world? This practice not only empowers you, but also cultivates compassion and understanding. As you focus on yourself every day, you will naturally find yourself letting go of the need to control external circumstances. You will understand that true power lies not in manipulating the outside world, but in mastering your inner world. This doesn't mean you become passive. On the contrary, you become more effective in your actions because they stem from a place of inner alignment rather than fear or lack. Now I want to address a question that often arises. Neville, how long will it take for my desires to manifest? And to this I say, it is done. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you truly embody the state of your desire, it is finished in the realm of spirit. Your role now is to persist in this state, to continue focusing on yourself and your desired reality regardless of appearances. Time is a construct of the physical world, but in the realm of spirit, everything exists now. Your desire is not something to be achieved in the future, but a state to be assumed now. As you focus on yourself every day, as you live from the state of the wish fulfilled, you will find that the time it takes for your desire to manifest in the physical world becomes irrelevant. You are already living it in consciousness, which is the only reality. This understanding brings about a profound shift in your approach to life. You no longer live in a state of wanting, of lack, of yearning for something in the future. Instead, you live from a state of fulfillment, of completeness. This is the state from which miracles naturally flow. As you continue to focus on yourself every day, you will find that your desires themselves begin to evolve. What once seemed important may fade away, replaced by deeper, more meaningful aspirations. This is a natural result of aligning with your true self. You begin to desire, not from a place of lack or social conditioning, but from your divine nature. Remember, my dear friends, that this work of focusing on yourself is not a means to an end. It is not something you do until you get what you want and then discard. It is a way of life, a continuous communion with your divine self. It is through this ongoing focus that you not only manifest your desires, but also discover your true purpose and express your unique gifts to the world. As we near the end of our time together, I want to impress upon you the importance of persistence. The world around you may not change overnight. Old patterns and beliefs may resist your new focus, but do not be discouraged. Your persistent focus on self, your consistent assumption of your desired state, is a mighty force. It is reshaping your world at the most fundamental level. Trust in the law. Trust in your divine nature. Trust in the power of your focused consciousness. For as surely as the sun rises each morning, your outer world must conform to your inner state. It is law. In closing, I urge you to make this focus on self your highest priority. Let it be the foundation upon which you build your life. For in doing so, you are not only transforming your own experience, but contributing to the elevation of all consciousness. Remember, you are God expressing as you. You are the creator of your reality. You are the operant power in your life. Focus on yourself every day, align with your true divine nature, and watch as miracles unfold in your life. Go forth now with this knowledge and power. Apply these teachings diligently. Focus on yourself every day. Live from your desired state. And know with absolute certainty that your world must and will conform to your focused consciousness. You are blessed. You are divine. You are powerful beyond measure. Now go and create the life of your dreams. It is your birthright. It is your destiny. It is done. Thank you.
The universe is always listening. Here's how to make it work for you. But before we delve into this mystery, let me tell you that what I'm about to share isn't based on theories or second-hand knowledge. This is the law that I have tested and proven countless times. And I stand before you to declare that it never fails. Let me begin by telling you a fundamental truth. The universe isn't something separate from you, listening from afar. The universe is your own wonderful human imagination. When we say the universe is listening, we really mean that your consciousness, your I-AM, is recording and expressing every assumption you hold as true. Many of you come to me asking how to make the universe work for you, how to manifest your desires, how to achieve your goals. But I tell you this, the universe is already working perfectly, expressing with absolute precision every state you occupy in consciousness. It cannot do otherwise, for this is law. Think about this for a moment. Everything you're experiencing now, everything you see in your world, is the perfect expression of your past assumptions. The universe hasn't failed you. It has been faithfully reproducing the contents of your consciousness. If you don't like what you see, you must change your assumptions. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes, your hopes, or your prayers. It responds only to your assumptions. When you say, I want, the universe faithfully creates more wanting. When you say, I hope, the universe creates more hoping. But when you assume you already have what you desire, the universe must, and I emphasize, must provide the conditions, circumstances, and events that match your assumption. Your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, are the threads from which the fabric of your life is woven. During my years of teaching this law, I've seen countless individuals struggling to change their world while maintaining the same assumptions that created their current conditions. This is like trying to harvest wheat while continuously planting thorns. Let me share with you a profound secret about how the universe listens. It listens not to your words, not to your actions, but to the feeling with which you walk through your day. When you understand this, you will understand why two people can use the same technique, say the same words, perform the same actions, yet experience vastly different results. The universe, being your own wonderful human imagination, responds to what you feel as true. Not what you want to be true, not what you hope will be true, but what you accept as true in the depths of your being. This is why Scripture tells us, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Notice it says in his heart, not in his mind. Many of you come to these lectures seeking techniques, methods, ways to make the universe bend to your will. But I tell you this, there is no technique more powerful than your ability to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The universe cannot distinguish between what you imagine with feeling and what you experience in the outer world. Let me illustrate this with a simple truth. Right now, in this very moment, you are experiencing the outer picturing of what you once assumed to be true. Your current financial situation, your relationships, your health, your social status, all of these are nothing more than your past assumptions made visible. The universe is so faithful to your assumptions that it will keep you in poverty if you assume lack, keep you in illness if you assume disease, keep you in loneliness if you assume abandonment. Not because it wishes to punish you, but because it can only reproduce what you accept as true in consciousness. Here's a principle that many find hard to accept. The universe is not working against you, and it's not working for you. It's working from you. It is the perfect mirror of your conscious and unconscious assumptions. When you truly grasp this, you will stop trying to change things on the outside and begin the vital work of changing your assumptions. Changing your assumptions is not a matter of positive thinking or repeating affirmations. It's about occupying a new state of consciousness until it becomes your dwelling place. When I speak of a state, I mean a complete mental and emotional attitude about yourself and the world around you. Let me tell you something that few teachers will tell you. Your present state, the one that created your current circumstances, is just as much an assumed state as the one you desire to occupy. You weren't born assuming your current limitations. You learned to assume them through experience, through what others told you, through your interpretation of events. The universe, being your faithful servant, has been reproducing these assumptions in your outer world with perfect accuracy. If you assume you can't succeed in business, the universe provides experiences that confirm this. If you assume relationships always end badly, the universe arranges events to prove you right. If you assume money is hard to come by, the universe ensures that it is. But here is the liberating truth. You can step out of your current state into a new state at any moment. The universe doesn't care how long you've been poor or sick or lonely. It only responds to your present assumption. The moment you genuinely assume a new state, the universe begins rearranging itself to match your new assumption. Consider this. Right now, there are infinite states of consciousness available to you. States of wealth, states of health, states of love, states of success. These states already exist, complete and perfect. Your task is not to create these states, but to occupy them through your assumption. Let me share with you what I mean by occupying a state. If you were now in a state of wealth, how would you feel? How would you walk? How would you talk to yourself? What would your inner conversations be? How would you react to the news of economic downturn? Your answers reveal whether you're truly occupying the state or merely wishing for it. The universe listens to these subtle signals more than your conscious declarations. You may affirm wealth all day long, but if you react with fear to an unexpected bill, the universe responds to your fear, not your affirmations. This is why watching your reactions is crucial. They reveal your true state. Your reactions are the clearest indicator of the state you're truly occupying. When someone mentions economic difficulty, do you react from the state of abundance or the state of lack? When you see others succeeding, do you react from the state of someone who knows their own success is assured, or from the state of someone who feels left behind? Let me share with you a profound truth about reactions. They are automated responses based on your deeply held assumptions. The universe responds not to what you want your reactions to be, but to what they actually are. This is why monitoring your reactions is one of the most important practices in conscious creation. Consider this: a wealthy person doesn't react to money the same way a poor person does. A healthy person doesn't react to physical symptoms the same way a sick person does. A person who knows they are loved doesn't react to relationship challenges the same way a person who assumes they are unlovable does. Your reactions reveal your state. But here's the wonderful news: you can change your reactions by changing the state from which they spring. When you truly occupy a new state, your reactions change automatically. You don't have to think about how to react. The new state reacts through you. This is why forcing new reactions doesn't work. You must change the state that produces the reactions. The universe is listening to these spontaneous reactions far more than your conscious intentions. When you understand this, you'll stop trying to control your reactions and instead focus on occupying the state that naturally produces the reactions you desire. Let me give you an example from my own experience. When I first began teaching this law, I would sometimes worry about having enough material for my lectures. But as I occupied the state of being an accomplished teacher, those worries disappeared. Not because I forced them away, but because they couldn't exist in my new state. The universe responded by continuously providing new insights and examples to share. Your reactions are like ripples on the surface of a pond, revealing the movements in the depths of your consciousness. During the day, watch your reactions carefully. They will show you which state you're actually occupying, regardless of which state you think you're occupying. Recognizing and changing your state is the most important work you can do. For your state of consciousness is the only reality. Everything else, your circumstances, your relationships, your finances, these are merely shadows cast by your state. Let me explain what I mean by a state, for this is crucial to your understanding. A state is not merely a mood or a temporary feeling. A state is the sum total of all your assumptions about yourself and the world. It's the mental and emotional dwelling place from which you view and experience life. Just as your physical home determines what you see when you look out its windows, your state determines what you experience in your world. The universe, being your own wonderful human imagination externalized, cannot give you what you want. It can only give you what your state dictates. This is why wanting something actually keeps it at a distance. The state of wanting can only produce more wanting. The universe doesn't respond to your desires, it responds to your state. Let me share with you a principle that many find hard to accept. You are already in the state of having everything you desire. Every possible state exists now. The state of wealth, the state of perfect health, the state of fulfilling relationships. These aren't states you need to create. They're states you need to occupy. Think of it like this: in your physical world, all the radio and television broadcasts exist simultaneously in your room right now. But you only experience the broadcast to which your receiver is tuned. Similarly, all states exist now in your consciousness. but you only experience the state to which you are tuned through your assumptions. The universe isn't withholding anything from you. It's faithfully broadcasting back to you the state you're occupying. If you're experiencing lack, it's because you're tuned to the state of lack. If you're experiencing illness, you're tuned to the state of illness. The universe can only play back what you're broadcasting through your state. Here's a profound truth. You can't experience what you desire while remaining in the state that doesn't include its fulfillment. You must shift your entire consciousness to the state where your desire is already fulfilled. This is what Scripture means by putting off the old man and putting on the new. Shifting your state of consciousness is not a matter of willpower or positive thinking. It's about assuming the natural feeling of already being what you desire to be. When you understand this, manifestation becomes effortless because you're no longer trying to make something happen. You're simply expressing what already is in your assumed state. Let me share with you what I mean by the natural feeling. If you were now the person you desire to be, how would you feel? Not emotionally excited, but naturally feel. If you were now wealthy, how would you naturally feel about money? If you were now in perfect health, how would you naturally feel about your body? These natural feelings are the key to shifting your state. Many of you make the mistake of trying to feel excited about your desire. But excitement implies that something is new or unusual. The universe responds not to excitement, but to the natural, familiar feeling of already being what you desire to be. When something is truly yours, you don't get excited about having it, you simply feel it as natural. Consider this, you don't get excited about having your name, do you? You don't wake up thrilled about being who you are. It feels natural, normal, ordinary. This is the feeling you must capture about your desire. The universe responds to what feels natural to you, not to what feels exciting or extraordinary. Let me tell you something about the universe's response to your state. It cannot distinguish between what you assume to be true and what is actually true in the outer world. To the universe, your assumptions are the only reality. This is why Scripture tells us that all things are possible to him that believeth. Your current state might be one of limitation, but remember you assumed your way into that state, and you can assume your way out of it. The universe has no choice but to reflect whatever state you occupy. It's not punishing you with your current circumstances. It's faithfully reflecting your assumed state. Here's a profound secret about shifting states. You don't need to know how the shift will be accomplished in the outer world. Your only task is to occupy the new state in consciousness. The universe, which is your own wonderful human imagination pushed out, will rearrange circumstances, events, and people to match your new state. The universe rearranges itself in ways that our logical minds could never conceive. When you shift to a new state, you don't need to manipulate external circumstances. The external must conform to your internal state. This is law. The universe will bring about the conditions, people, and events that correspond to your new state in ways that will seem miraculous. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. Time is not a factor in the manifestation of your desire. What matters is not the passage of time, but the intensity of your conviction in the new state. The universe doesn't need time to rearrange itself. It only needs your unwavering assumption of the new state. Many of you ask how long it will take for your desire to manifest. But I tell you this, time is a feature of the outer world, not of consciousness. In consciousness, where all creation takes place, there is no time. The moment you completely accept your desires fulfilled in consciousness, the universe begins its work of bringing it into visibility. Consider this: when you plant a seed in fertile soil, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You know that by law it must grow. Similarly, when you plant an assumption in consciousness, you must allow it to take root and grow by its own law. The universe knows how to bring it forth. Your task is to maintain the state that implies its fulfillment. Let me tell you something about the universe's response to your state. It responds not to your sporadic thoughts or occasional affirmations, but to your sustained assumption. If you assume wealth for an hour, but spend the rest of the day conscious of lack, the universe responds to your predominant state of lack. This is why persistence in your new state is crucial. You must learn to sleep in your new state, to walk in your new state, to breathe in your new state. Every moment that you can maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the universe is rearranging itself to bring about the conditions that match your assumption. Here's a profound truth about the universe's response. It doesn't respond to what you think you deserve or what others think you deserve. It responds solely to what you assume to be true. If you can assume a state and maintain that assumption, the universe must, and I emphasize must, provide the conditions that match your assumption. Maintaining your assumption is not a matter of mental effort, but a faithful occupancy of your new state. Just as you don't need effort to occupy your physical home, you don't need effort to occupy your desired state once you truly move into it. The key is to make your new state your permanent dwelling place in consciousness. Let me share with you what I mean by faithful occupancy. When you live in a physical home, you don't constantly remind yourself that it's your home. You simply live there naturally. You wake up there, you sleep there, you go about your daily activities there. This is how you must live in your new state of consciousness. Many of you make the mistake of visiting your desired state like a tourist, spending a few moments there through apparitions or visualization, then returning to your old state. But I tell you this, you must pack up and move permanently into your new state. You must establish residency there in your imagination. Consider this, everything you're experiencing now was once just an assumption you held. Your current financial situation, your relationships, your health, all of these were first established in your imagination through your tune. The universe has been faithfully reflecting these assumptions back to you. When you understand this, you realize that maintaining your new assumption is not about forcing yourself to think certain thoughts. It's about becoming so convinced of your new state that contrary thoughts become impossible to entertain. Just as you can't convince yourself that 2 + 2 = 5, you become unable to accept any evidence that contradicts your new state. Let me tell you something vital about maintaining your assumption. Your outer world will not immediately reflect your new state. There will be a time lag between your assumption and its physical manifestation. During this interval, you must maintain your assumption despite any contrary evidence. This is where most people falter. They look at the outer world, see no change, and abandon their assumption. But I tell you this, the outer world is nothing more than a shadow of past assumptions. It has no power to prevent the manifestation of your new assumption, unless you give it that power by abandoning your new state. Persisting despite contrary evidence is the mark of true mastery in consciousness. The outer world will continue to reflect your old assumptions for a time. This is law. But I tell you this, these reflections have no power except the power you give them through your reaction to them. When you understand that your three-dimensional world is merely the shadow of your consciousness, you cease to be moved by appearances. Would you be frightened by your shadow on the wall? Of course not, because you know it's just a shadow. Similarly, your current circumstances are just shadows of past assumptions, powerless to affect your new state unless you grant them power. Let me share with you a principle that has proven itself countless times. The outer world must conform to your inner assumption, but it will test your conviction first. When you assume a new state, the universe will present you with evidence that seems to contradict your assumption. This is not to discourage you. It's to strengthen your resolve. Consider this. When you plant a seed in the ground, the soil above it must crack and break before the plant emerges. Similarly, when you plant a new assumption in consciousness, the old conditions must break up before the new can emerge. These apparent contradictions are not denials of your assumption. They are signs that your old world is breaking up to make way for the new. Many of you abandon your assumption at the first sign of contradiction. But I tell you this, those very contradictions, if you persist through them, become the foundation stones of your new reality. Every seeming denial, when you maintain your assumption in spite of it, becomes proof of your power to create. Let me tell you something about persistence that few understand. You don't persist by fighting against current conditions. You persist by remaining so centered in your new state that current conditions become irrelevant. Just as the sun doesn't fight against darkness, it simply shines. You don't fight against current circumstances. You simply maintain the light of your new assumption. The depth of your conviction is the measure of your success in manifesting your desires. When your conviction in your new state reaches the point where you can no longer conceive of its opposite, that is when manifestation becomes inevitable. Remember this, the universe is not something outside of you that needs to be convinced. It is your own wonderful human imagination pushed out into space. Therefore, the depth of your conviction is actually the degree to which you have convinced yourself, not some external power. Let me leave you with these final truths about working with the universe. First, know that the universe is always listening, because it is your own consciousness externalized. Second, understand that it responds not to your wishes but to your convictions. Third, realize that your task is not to make something happen but to assume the state where it has already happened. The power you seek is already within you. The state you desire already exists. The wealth, the health, the love, the success, all are present now in consciousness. Your work is not to create them but to assume them into expression through your conviction. When you walk out of here tonight, remember this. You are not going out to face a hostile universe that needs to be conquered. You are going out to experience your own consciousness made visible. Everything you will encounter is yourself pushed out. Every person, every circumstance, every event is your consciousness externalized. Therefore, assume the best about yourself, for in doing so, you're assuming the best about your world. The universe cannot give you more than you assume for yourself. It cannot give you less than you assume for yourself. It can only and must give you exactly what you assume. Go forth now in this knowledge. Test it. Prove it in the laboratory of daily life. For I tell you this with absolute conviction, the universe is always listening, and it has no choice but to mold itself according to your assumptions. That is the law. And the law never fails. The choice is yours now. You can continue to accept your present assumptions and experience their reflections, or you can assume a new state and watch as the universe rearranges itself to match your new assumption. The power is yours, the choice is yours, and the universe awaits your decision. For consciousness is the only reality, and what you assume as true in consciousness must and will become true in your world. That is the law. That is the promise. And that is the power that makes the universe work for you. The greatest truth that man must realize is that we are all gods, orchestrating our own cosmic play upon the grand stage of existence. Our consciousness does not simply observe this world, but literally sustains and creates it moment by moment. We are the poets crafting the epics of our lives. To reprogram your mind and shift your energies towards success is not to undertake some arduous lifelong journey. It is simply to awaken to your true nature as the authors of your respective universes. When you shed the blinders of doubt and limitation, you will see that the attainment of your fondest dreams is not some improbable aspiration, but your natural state of being. You need only conceive of the desire you wish to unleash into this world, and through the deliverable magic of your imagination, you make it so. The world around you in all its immensity and sensory tangibility is simply solidified consciousness. It conforms to the contents of your marvelous mind, which possesses the awesome power of reshaping form itself. Let me repeat that again. For it is a truth so profound, so revolutionary in its implications, you must let its enormity fully penetrate your consciousness. You are the operant power animating not only your circumstances, but every facet of your experienced reality. You are the cosmic dreamer conjuring universes into existence. To know this as an intellectual concept is one thing, but to ingrain and add its truth into the very fabric of your being is to unlock your divine thermal-clear power. It is not through soulless techniques or mental trickeries, but by a perfect absorption into the certainty of being that you reprogram your mindset toward boundless achievement. Imagine what fires could be stoked within you if you realize that every finite impression you perceive is but a shadow resonance of infinite capacities stirring within your immortal being. That the creations you behold, splendid as they are but a dim foreshadowing of the kaleidoscopic wonders brewing in your subconscious depths, yearning to burst forth into objective manifestation. The pyramids, the symphonies, the cathedrals and empires of this world that so eminently impress the senses, these are but faint mirrorings of your spiritual inferno dream realms that will one day pulse into palpable substance. For within you dwell worlds upon worlds, galaxies waiting to be born from your imagination's matrixual womb. Success, my friends, however you personally define it, is not something you pursue and capture like a fleeting animal in the wilderness. It is your natural state of being once you become keenly aware of the infinite bundles of power and potential throbbing within your very soul. The great sages and avatars throughout the ages realized that desires automatically achieve consummate expression simply by their being conceived and firmly occupying one's consciousness. Jesus was able to resurrect and transfigure his flesh because he operated with a spiritual continuity, that he was the Son of God, that he was one with the creative principle animating all existence. Those who mastered and activated the power of their subconscious faculties became outright alchemists, able to reshape molecules and attenuate matter into new forms and realities. The beauty you witness blossoming across the vast spectacle of creation is but an adumbration of what you can continually generate by lapsing into the infinite reverie that you truly are. Whatever your heart yearns for, whether it be wealth, perfect health, harmonious relationships, creative masterpieces, or to elevate this earth into a utopian paradise, it is all readily achievable once you accept the reality of being the cosmic dreamer vivifying the universe from your spiritual furnaces. You need not anxiously struggle, scheme, or exhaust yourself in pursuit of success, for it blossoms effortlessly from the womb of your consciousness. It is simply a new perception, a sublimely enlightened rearranging of your thoughts and ultimate self-action that brings into view the spiritual realities always connected with your being. Cares, struggles, conflicts, and travails abound only for those who buy into the duality of being separate from the creative principle. For them, every desire is an uphill battle against opposing forces and stubborn circumstances that appear indifferent to their longings. But for you who recognize that all force springs from your consciousness, success becomes as natural and inevitable as your breath itself. When you dissolve the illusions surrounding you, and they are illusions, friends, for this world is nothing more than a passing panorama of images molded from the infinite plasticity of your imagination, then you live continually in the spiritual ethers of perpetual achievement. You dwell in the cosmic dream wherein you are the eternally victorious protagonist. Ask yourself what you truly desire, not the frivolous, ephemeral cravings fueled by egoistic passions and fleeting delirium, but your true, godly longing searing from the very core of your being, that insatiable fire burning from your spiritual source, your essence, desiring full expression. Once you become vividly awakened to that core desire, that yearning you feel in the quietude of soul, you need only give it your rapturous, unhesitant attention, and that divine passion begins to remake and remold your reality in its own likeness. When you really want something with the totality of your being, so that every fiber, every neutron is supercharged with that intention, the whole universe bends and acquiesces to your will. Difficulties and oppositions will only appear to those living in a finite, dualistic realm that sees struggle as necessary for attainment. But you, who comprehend that all is your perception, all is molded consciousness, understand that simply by riveting your desires in the boundless ethers of your conscious temple, you summon it into objectivity without any resistance whatsoever. My friends, you are so much more than you currently recognize. You have settled for a pale rendition of the blazing infinities churning within your immortal being. You are the very weaver of the cosmic loom, the eternal artist birthing realities with your perpetual dreaming. The successes you presently applaud as extraordinary are but timid preludings of the super spectacles and dimensions waiting to erupt from your resplendent subconscious territories. They are washings of the same waves that ceaselessly thunder and swirl through your infinite depths. Do you ever ponder why certain individuals, against all conventional odds and circumstances, achieve staggering success and operate on a scale that boggles the finite mind? It is because they are tapped into the spiritual continuum of their divine imagination. They are in resonance with the celestial keynote sounding from their eternal being. Every true genius, avatar, and master creator is one who merely discovers how to get themselves out of the way and become a clear window for the infinite source currents to pour through their human vessel. They become empty conduits for the spiritual tsunamis waiting to uncurl from the subconscious ocean deeps within them. Such self-surrender and hollow entrancement into the depths of their being allows creators unbridled access into the prodigious wellsprings from which dreams, visions, inventions, and new realities are birthed into manifestation. What you call desires, longings, and aspirations are but coded spiritual instructions from the infinite dream currents flowing through you, signaling that new dimensions are eagerly aching to press forth into materialized objectivity. Each pure passion that sears through you is the blaze announcing that untrodden universes are anxiously awaiting to incarnate from your imagination's radiant furnaces. Your true self is formless light, an infinite labyrinth of creative and universal quintessence shaped into a resplendent being for the precise purpose of exploring, manifesting, and giving full expression to the boundless treasures encoded within your subconscious wonders. Countless civilizations, masterworks, and entire galaxies have been in fetal form, dormant within the limitless potencies you now call your human self. But you are far vaster, far more prodigious than the scant entities you presently ascribe to the limited personas you temporarily inhabit. You are inexhaustibly creating because you are creation itself. Your inherent nature is constant imaginative exuberance, an eternal dreaming of newer, grander, multidimensional experiences. To cease projecting forth fresh realities through your concentrated imaginations would be to extinguish the core of your ontological existence. I tell you, friends, the world that so solidly appears around you is merely a shadow realm, a brief cosmic day residue formed from the subconscious night reality simmering within you. What you presently behold with your senses is simply the ephemeral atmosphere sandwiched between the dream-swept eternities of your being. Your imagination is the umbilical cord that forever binds you to the fecund womb of the infinite. Through its brilliant paradox of manifesting forms while remaining formless, it draws ever new and wilder expressions of immanence up from the celestial abyss. You are not truly born until you realize your innate power of resurrection, of perpetually being conceived anew through the wondrous dreamings of your boundless imagination. To be twice born is not a poetic metaphor, but the literal shedding of your causal, limited identity, and surrendered embodiment of your immortal, creative infinitudes. Those who walk this earth as so-called enlightened masters are merely those who have merged their sense of personhood into the perpetual dream state of the Kleshu. They have liberated themselves from restricting identities into the blissful continuity of imagination as their core consciousness and mode of operation. Through their realization that unbroken dreaming is their inherent state, they have become boundless radiances, infinite sources of creativity, abundance, and inspiration, eternally remolding their environments into kaleidoscopic raptures of materialized ideation. The instant you feel yourself firmly rooted in the adamantine truth that you are a cosmic creator dreaming universes into fruition, the yoke of limitation, anxiety, and every earthly care are dissolved from upon your being. You will have already entered into the imperishable paradise worlds, where every aspiration is satisfied by a mere whim of your imagination. My words may strike chords of incredulity or skepticism within you, but I urge you to consider this deeply. If you buy into the universal dream that you are separate from the creative source of existence, then you are forever doomed to live out that mental construct of souls anguished by unrealized desires and perpetual yearning. But if you fully embrace that you yourself are the wellspring of perpetual creation, the God-mind Jose imagination is what has conjured this present realm into tangibility, then the shackles of deficiency, want, and struggle instantly vanish from your being. You begin dwelling in the conscious paradise of your subconscious depths, where you are free to perpetually manifest your dreams into objectification. I urge you to have no hesitation, to slough off trepidation and the fear of appearing deluded, and take an audacious plunge into the depths of your infinite being. I implore you to fully surrender to the certainty that the consciousness animating your perceived existence is the same prodigious power that materializes all worlds. Persist in this assumption, this solemn attunement and merging with the inexhaustible deeps of your imagination, and you will find yourself gradually awakening to unprecedented degrees of creative power. Lucrative opportunities, unimaginable experiences, and realities of abundance and fulfillment will spontaneously burst forth into your existence. The gates separating you from the highest heavens of manifestation will disintegrate, for you will be perpetually rooted in the ever-spiraling dream cycle that continually regenerates creation into newer states of beauty and magnificence. Whatever the goal or vision that ignites your soul passions, cling to it tenaciously. Nurture and amplify its presence within your consciousness until it overshadows all else and consumes your entire reality with its spiritual charge. Then simply remain faithful, poised, and continually immersed in its all-pervading atmosphere. Before long, you will witness the laws of spiritual gestation mirroring your pregnant ideations into materialized expression. Your thoughts hollowing outward into solidified circumstances, as irresistibly as an oak tree, unfurling from the subtlest acorn seed. The whole world was dreamed into existence by the indomitable subconscious forces of the cosmic imagination. And you are forever plugged in into and nourished by that same inexhaustible psychic power source from which all creation issues forth. You are a particle of that infinite dreaming mind, and thus in you are contained all its godly potentialities. Your inherent nature, your raison d'etre, is to dive ceaselessly into the reveries of your subconscious. It is to unceasingly explore and give full expression to the limitless ideas, orologies, and revelations that forever unspool from your immortal imagination's myriad creative channels. The entire spectacle of existence you bear witness to is but a flickering series of images projected outward from the infinite dreaming of your subconscious mind. This world of gross matter and rigid forms is but the residue of far vaster and more sublime subconscious activities that ceaselessly clamor at the thresholds of manifestation. Earthbound minds perceive only this solidified shadow play of petrified concepts as reality, never realizing the unfathomed, living depths of subconscious gestation teeming behind the veil. They see the surface foam on the crest of the wave, oblivious to the subterranean psychic currents that delivered that surging formation out of invisibility. But you, the awakened and enlightened visionary, glimpse past the mere reflected images to behold the untrammeled vastnesses of the infinite subliminal realms, wherefrom all concepts first spark into primordial being. You peer beyond the world's congealed surface forms to the inexhaustible creative source fires forever blazing within you. Having this constant awareness of the subconscious's primacy over the external world creates a profound transfiguration in your perceptual lens and initiatory prowess. It empowers you to shed the reptilian mind's habitual limitations and trance of victimization, to emerge as a sovereign co-creator and dreamer of new realities. Those studying surface mind consciousness orbit in the gravity well of the external world of so-called facts and circumstances, eternally striving uphill to rescope or attain conditions their conscious deems desirable. But one rooted in the wisdom of subconscious primacy flows with the irresistible currents of unseen creative forces continually manifesting new conditions with effortless spontaneity. Each desire you have is but an outrush of those eternal spiritual forces beckoning to be granted newer patterns of expression in materialized objectivity. In each passion and longing you feel is the psychic resonance of unexplored dimensions pulsating with eagerness to unfurl into experienced actualities through your unique dreaming mind. The infinite deeps of your subconscious imagination resemble a divine ibiscope, an eternally revolving, multidimensional hologram conjuring newer astral configurations with each fractional pause and recombination of its facets. Your mediumistic mind is the window through which these boundless, ceaselessly mutating worlds of your imagination are projected into formed expression. Thus, the very purpose and point of power in your human incarnation is to surrender as a conscious, sentient departure for these perpetual reshapings, revelations, and materialized manifestations of subconscious ideation to pass through into vivification. Each time you concentrate your focused attention and emotional energies toward upholding a clear, deliberate, ill or desired manifestation. You have permitted another fragrance of those infinite interior essences to gestate and be born into objective expression through you. Your consent and conviction is the energetic placenta nourishing the spiritual embryo. All the greatest geniuses and visionary minds throughout history were those who, consciously or unconsciously, plunged depths into their subconscious dream waters and emerged with brilliant creative bestowals wrought forth from that infinite source consciousness. Rumi, Lao Tzu, Pythagoras, Da Vinci, Emerson, Tesla, these and all the true titans of human progress and illumination were mystic explorers of consciousness itself. They mastered the art of extracting sublime treasures from the unseen interiors of creation and birthing them into beautified outer existence. These avatars knew that to embark on any endeavor in the three-dimensional sphere, while remaining disconnected from the spiritual dream matrix, was to have against the universe's current, swimming upstream in resistance to the very source of one's birthright as an outflowing of the infinite. But when aligned and in synergistic rapport with their originating subconscious well springs, they became lightning rods for reality's continual metamorphosis. Plugged into the perpetual dreaming source awareness from whence all realities spring, they harness boundless, innovative, and materializing power to reshape their environments with their willed ideations. This mystical marriage of conscious intention and subconscious infinitudes is what births all revolutionaries, geniuses, and avatars onto this earthly plane. It is the alchemical sacred union where the impregnating fires of imagination conceive ideations into materialized objectivity. Your perpetual desires, aspirations, and idealized visions act as transcendental tuning forks that broadcast your intentions into the subconscious dream fields of your being. Their amplitudes reverberate through the infinite holographic labyrinth of your deeper mind, conjuring forth a harmonic convergence in the patterns that ceaselessly manifest into creation. Just as a singer can effortlessly shatter a glass through focused resonant frequencies, your subconscious imagination is able to concretize your projected thought sliders into experienced realities with infinitely more powerful reverberations. Hold an intention and fervently amplify it in your conscious sphere, and you transmit its energies like a lightning rod into your subconscious imaginative dream fields. In the inexhaustible ethers of your infinite imaginative deeps is where the concentrated thought form is taken up and nurtured through emotional feeling, visualization, and soulful belief into vivified materialization. This is why I urge you to never relinquish or abandon your passionate dreams. Never let them dissipate or grow dim from distraction or a lack of mental focus. For these crystallized visions and longings from your soul's core are the very areas activating the shape-shifting macro forces of your subconscious, the sacred keynotes that govern the creation of your experiential realities. The more you infuse these transcendent aspirations with emotional energy, sensory feeling, and convictional certainty, the more you pour your conscious waveforms into pulsating resonance with the infinite creative dream fields you originate late. This harmonic convergence of your conscious ideations and subconscious infinite source awareness is the divine alchemical ritual birthing new realities into manifestation. Envision how brilliant artists, masters of their craft, continually impregnate their canvases or symphonic scores with fresh ideations, breathe forth from the boundless reveries that forever unspool within their imaginations. Their creations seem to take on a life of their own, their sublime works resonating with a pulsating aliveness that transcends that lifeless forms. So too does the infinite wellspring of consciousness within you continually catalyze its own reveries of splendors and reveal it into birth, concretized revelations, but only if you remain ensouled in ardent communion and surrender to its eternal dreaming. If you permit yourself to become an empty channel, a hollow reed through which the fruits of divine imagination can ceaseless stream forth into creative materialization. Those oblivious to their true nature's channels for this infinite subconscious ideation instead cling to rigid identities and limited self-concepts as tiny corks adrift on creation's currents, buffeted by circumstance They anxiously surrender their creative powers as conscious mediators for the infinite to express itself through them in each moment. But those who remain still unbound and perpetually entranced by the eternal dreamscapes rippling within their imaginations find themselves in alignment with the vast cosmic powers of infinite origination. Every thought they conceive springs forth as an effortless hierogamy and precipitate birthing of the infinite self-expression. Form itself dissolves into liquidity, ceaselessly reshaping itself in resonance with the subtlest nuances and intentionalities rippling forth from their inwardly enthralled awareness. They find themselves spontaneously manifesting realities, experiences, and abundance from the interiors of their perpetually dreaming imagination. The entire universe itself is simply the perpetual wave patterns and precipitation of an infinite ocean of intelligent dreaming energy. All forces, apparent solids, the building blocks of nature, these are but slowed and crystallized outpourings of the infinite subconscious imagination. As a conscious human being, you are an immortal cell cradled within the womb of that infinite cosmic imagination. When you remain aware of your positioning within that eternally dreaming source, you become suffused with its birthing potential. Its boundless reveries perpetually gestate through the particularized lens of your unique perceptual identity. You are the imagination of God itself come into individuated awareness, yet eternally plugged into the boundless dream matrix birthing all worlds. What you actualize in your material incarnation is ultimately a projection and symbolic mirroring of the subliminal ideation and creative archetype, rippling throughout the infinite, throughout the hologram.